Okay, so did you know that you get pretty much like all bottled water from the same source? They just brand it differently.
Well,
Hey.
what's up, Gage?
Hey, Gage.
Is this my microphone?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I couldn't find my ass with both hands, could I, Lane?
I'm sorry?
Oh, did you even think I was going to show up to the podcast, Sam? Because, I'm never doing my work.
What are you talking about?
I have no idea what you're
I
talking
think you know good goddamn well what I'm talking about.
No, I really don't.
Oh, just these.
Oh, wait, no.
I'll release the employee reviews to everyone. I saw what you wrote about me.
Those were all anonymous.
Apparently not, because one, you wrote your name on it. Both of you did.
Al said they were going to be I assumed he was going to take the name off.
Wait a
Oh, he didn't.
Wait a sec. No, that's the other guy.
No, that's you. The other guy had some wonderful things to say about me.
Oh, what did he say?
He said I smell nice.
Absolutely not true.
I smell like a fart that has been condensed into a person, an unpleasant, wordy person.
Well, to put it bluntly, yes. I mean, I do have to share this room with you for hours at a time.
I'm just really offended.
Oh,
And then it just says might be gay.
I was telling Al everything.
Why would Al need to know if I might be gay?
I got caught up, okay? I just... You know how I like cataloging things. You're in the might be gay pile.
There's a pile?
and you've never said anything against it, so...
Oh, don't start teaming up with him. Wait till you see what he wrote about you.
Oh,
Wait, hold on, what is
no,
this?
hold on, Lane. No, let's enjoy this brief, fleeting moment of friendship before you read that paper.
All right, fine. I will give you exactly one segment till I read your nasty, nasty thing about me.
Wait, are you telling me that we're just going to take this podcast and jump right in?
Somewhere deep in the Arizona desert, 3 men are doomed to work for the rest of their lives, trapped within the confines of Big Al's salt mine. They gather weekly and survive the only way they know how, by recording this show. You're listening to Salt Mine Radio.
Namely, the horrible things he wrote about you. You should read them.
Well, he's got to do his segment first. I told him I'd give him one segment's worth, and then I'd read them.
Fine.
All right, everybody.
What's your segment, Sam?
Who?
Since you're not overly talkative.
Firing on all cylinders today, Gage. You're going to need that for today's game show segment, Banned in China. Banned being spelled both B-A-N-D and B-A-N-N-E-D.
A clever game show name about music.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I see where you're going with this.
Wherever could you have gotten an idea like that?
Oh, yeah. We all know that Gage is the first person to make clever names for game shows.
Or to invent a game show. Especially one that you
Hey,
can't
I got enough
see.
of it in the employee reviews. Can we just play this fucking game?
All right, so I'm going to read you an offense that got an artist banned from performing in China, and then 3 options for which artist that could be.
Okay.
I like this game.
And you're gonna have to guess who was the offender that got banned in China. I have four bans and then a tiebreaker if that should arise.
Are we
right.
competing? Me and
You're
him are
competing against each other.
Okay,
You're
I'm gonna
both
kick his ass.
Yeah. Our first offender is a teenage female pop star, and she was banned for a quote-unquote racist pose in a picture in which she stretched her eyes to be the classic Asian.
Avril Lavigne.
And it says, it is obvious that blank is no friend of China. We have no interest in further polluting our children's minds with her American ignorance. And your options are A, Avril Lavigne, B, Hilary Duff, C, Miley Cyrus.
I'm gonna go A, Avril Lavigne. Final answer.
You're going A, Avril Lavigne as well?
Yep.
The answer is C, Miley Cyrus.
Well, fuck you, Lane. You answered so confidently.
Well, she does that that Hello Kitty song.
Yes.
She loves Japan, so I just assume that's...
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So Miley Cyrus did the... How recent was this?
This is from like 2007. She's still banned.
Wait, so that was back when she was like Hannah Montana.
She was Hannah Montana, yeah.
Oh, now I feel like I've seen this. I'm not sure if I have or not, but okay. So neither of us won that round.
All right. Number 2. The Chinese Ministry of Culture reasoned, quote, vulgar language was the reason that this concert couldn't go ahead. Is this A, George Michael, B, Jay-Z, or C, The Offspring?
Ooh, okay. Do the Chinese like gays? Do they hate the gays over there?
That's why I'm thinking George Michael, because all of his songs are about having sex.
With men?
I will tell you that homosexuality is still considered a mental disorder in China, as far as I know.
So yeah, we're gonna have to go George Michael. We're not.
You are competing against each other.
Well, I will.
Yeah, okay.
I'll go George Michael.
Now that he's locked in his answer, I can reason out loud here. Now, Jay-Z does do vulgar lyrics, but I'm thinking they have to let other people's vulgar lyrics, so I'm going to go The Offspring,
Okay.
because I don't really like The Offspring.
The answer is B, Jay-Z.
God!
Wow, really? Fuck.
This is a harder game show than I thought.
This is really hard.
All right. Number 3. This band was banned because their keyboard player wished the Dalai Lama a happy birthday on Twitter.
All right.
How fucking petty and stupid.
Is it A, Maroon 5, B, Coldplay, or C, U2?
Ooh.
It can't be U2, right? Because Bono's welcome in every country.
But he likes human rights, so maybe him and China won't get along.
See, now I know nothing about any of these bands' keyboard artists.
Well,
so.
Coldplay has a song called Yellow, so I'm going to lock in B, Coldplay.
All right, B, Coldplay, and you?
Oh, I see the parallel you're drawing there.
Damn, Marcus.
I'm just going to go with that, so that way if he does get it right, I get the point with him.
The answer is A, Maroon 5.
Oh, shit. All right.
Which surprised me because they stand for nothing. Like, they're the ultimate mercenary band. But yeah.
How is the keyboardist like, we have to bolster CD sales, see if the Dalai Lama will buy a couple?
Well, now we're banned in all of China. Great job, dude.
I had no idea there was controversy there.
All right, next one.
Number 4.
All right, number 4. This is my final one. I was hoping that
It's tied 0-0.
one of you would have scored by
I'll
now.
get this.
Now we have to pick different ones.
This one's going to be a home run. This artist was banned for their gender-neutral pronoun protest songs, but were re-allowed back in 2011 with a pre-approved set list that cut all of those protest songs. Were they Neil Young, Bob Dylan, or Joan Baez?
Oh, what the fuck, Sam?
Okay, so I know. Give me those again.
Neil Young, Bob Dylan,
I know who Bob Dylan is.
Joan Baez.
Okay,
Joan Baez is the song in Metal Gear about, I'm going locking in Joan Baez.
Okay.
But I mean,
And then
Neil
who's-
Young is just spineless enough that he would cut those songs from his set list.
what does Neil Young do?
Oh man, look at my life.
That's a pretty good Neil Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Neil Young then, just to be different.
And the answer is B, isn't
The
it?
answer is B, Bob Dylan.
Fuck! What? Are you kidding me?
Well, I guess that means you win, Sam.
No, he's got a tiebreaker.
This female artist was banned for chanting
Avril Lavigne.
Tibet.
Amy
One of
Winehouse.
That's an easy
her
way to
Chinese-
get banned, isn't it?
Right. That's like when you're on the game server and you're like, just kick me, and they
Yeah,
just kick you. Yeah. Is it Bjork, Gwen Stefani, or Karen Carpenter?
I'm gonna say Bjork, because Bjork seems just irrelevant enough that she would try throwing out the.
No, that's a good
Tibet,
guess.
Tibet.
Yeah, that's a good guess, Lane, but I have no doubt that it's Gwen Stefani.
Good one. Unfortunately, it's Bjork.
Yes! Yes, motherfucker!
Lane wins with a total of 1 point out of 5 possible.
That's fine, I went for the pun. I feel good about that one. Mm-hmm. Well, Lane, we've only
Bjork?
just begun.
We've only just Bjorked.
I don't know any Bjork songs.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
I don't know any Bjork songs
Since
either.
we're in a music segment, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Am I allowed to like Sugar Ray? Someday.
I like the song Fly,
Fly's pretty good.
not the reggae remix.
Oh, also the
You're
police.
allowed to like him though, yeah.
Am I allowed to hate the police?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Whoever their producer was should be shot. They sound terrible. And their songs are already like they could have benefited from a good producer. And then when they have that guy asleep at the wheel. But yeah.
All right. Well, now that I've won the game show, I'm feeling good enough that I can probably weather whatever you've written about me since I won your game show here.
In my defense, it was in the heat of the moment. I'm sure you'd done something unintentional.
Has nice shoes,
Yeah.
but looks like a clown when he wears them.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Well,
I feel like that was more like an insult I was workshopping for somebody else that I just wrote on your paper.
Yeah, it seems kind of like that.
What about in all capital letters right there where he just wrote the word retard?
Yeah, not really digging that one either. Especially since this was in list form and it said, please use complete sentences. Well, that just makes me think, who's the retard now?
Yeah, so you know what? And Sam, why don't you read some of the things that Lane wrote about you? But no, let's save it for after his segment, shall we?
All right. So my segment this week is going to be a Sausage Party retrospective. I know that neither of you have seen the film yet.
No.
Which it's fine, even though this is kind of a look back. I recently rewatched it. Didn't pay money for it. I would not pay money for the film. I'm still standing by that philosophy. Now, I didn't really like anything the first time I watched it, but going through the second time, there were a couple things that I thought were kind of funny. Like, I didn't laugh out loud at them, but I thought, oh, okay. Like, now that I'm giving this kind of a second chance, that is kind of funny. They do in the heat of the night, they call me Mr. Grits. And thinking back on that now, that is extremely funny to me, because in the theater, no one laughed at that.
Yeah, that's a niche audience that's going to
Because-
get the In the Heat of the Night reference.
When did that movie come out? Like 60-something?
Yeah.
So that's a very, very old movie, right? So, like, it's amazing that even I have seen the film.
I'm not familiar with this. What's the?
There's is it in Louisiana?
Yeah, it's a black cop, Tibbs, who...
He's got to go work with the racist Louisiana cops.
Okay.
What they call you down where you come from, boy? They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, okay.
It's Sidney Poitier?
Yeah. Looking back on it, that is the funniest part of the movie, specifically because that is not in the original Sausage Party script that got leaked.
Let me just preface your segment with saying you went and downloaded the script for the movie before the movie was even close to release.
Yeah.
You read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now you've seen the movie twice.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of effort for a movie that you hate.
Well, okay, I don't necessarily hate this movie. I hate Seth Rogen.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't. That's the thing. I think if anybody else had made this movie, I probably would have been like, okay, I'll give this movie kind of a chance, right? Mm-hmm. But it's the fact that oh yeah, Seth Rogen presents. So that's funny because no one that this movie is targeted at, no demographic this movie is trying to reach is going to get a In the Heat of the Night reference. No one.
That makes me think that it was improvised. That it wasn't in the original script. That they just left the mic on.
Well, because originally it was that character is a box of Uncle Tom's rice.
Oh, they cut that because I saw that.
No, what they change is it has the "oh yes, massa" accent, and rightfully someone along the way said, "Okay, that's way too racist. Let's tone that back a little bit." Okay, well, we'll just dial it in the opposite direction and make it that super aggressive black person stereotype. So they change it to a box of grits instead.
Okay.
Who's like, oh, motherfucker type of thing, which that isn't real. I think it's better than the slave plantation voice.
I guess it's an updated stereotype.
Right. So
I don't know. I would have laughed at the slave voice.
I feel like they could have played that so over the top that it was funny.
Especially if it's Uncle Tom's rice.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like Uncle Ben, but then if they throw in Uncle Tom, the whole...
So another joke, another thing that I liked in the movie is that the antagonist is
Nick Kroll.
Yeah, Nick Kroll, who's doing his Jersey Shore dude bro. So, and I like that because that was a stereotype we saw a lot of like 6 or 7 years ago, back when the Jersey Shore was popular. So it was kind of funny seeing like, oh, hey, bro, like, oh, no disrespect. Like, I'm not a person who's super into sex jokes when they're like pushed right in your face. Like, innuendo is much more funny. So other thing that I like is Edward Norton doing his Hasidic Jew voice the whole time. Oh, what kind of parents would give their kid such a cunt name? I'm like, okay, that's funny that he's making fun of his own name in this. I don't know who does the racist Arabic
the
non-bred, but whoever voices him is playing a character. But that one, like, okay, I guess it was funny in middle school where you had like Jeff Dunham doing Ahmed the Dead Terrorist.
Isn't that horrible that we all laughed at that?
Well, looking back on it now, like, that's so horribly offensive.
Yeah, it's not really that funny either.
That's the cardinal sin of Jeff Dunham, is that he's not funny. He can't get away with the shit that he's trying to pull.
Yeah.
Yikes. So this Lavash character is just too much of that. I have 77 bottles of virgin olive oil waiting for me in the Great Beyond. It's like, oh, so that's what you know about people from the Middle East?
So, Lane, final verdict on Sausage Party.
I'm gonna say, here's what I'll tell you. You don't have to bother with it. Don't bother with it. Don't see it. If it happens to be on TV at like a friend's house or something, pick out your own enjoyment from it if you can. Try and enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it the first time, and I found very, very little watching it the second time.
Well, that's a good review of Sausage Party. You're a little more glowing of it than you were of me.
Okay, liking 3 or 4 parts out of an 86-minute long.
I mean, you
movie.
couldn't even write a single thing that you liked about Sam.
You literally just wrote "sa,"
Yeah. It looks like you started to write an M, but couldn't be bothered.
and then under here it just says "forgot him." What does that mean?
No, see, that couldn't have been me. I'm not as lazy as that other guy. That's how I know it's the other guy.
This is how I know it's you. Won't talk about anime. How's that a negative about a
That's
person?
pretty damning.
Well, doesn't that other guy like anime too?
We don't know.
We've never talked to him, and
I'm
you've
pretty
never
sure-
even seen him.
I know, but you guys...
You're not going to talk your way out of this one, okay?
I'm telling you.
Everyone here is guilty of something. I mean, you'll notice that, my reviews aren't even in there. They must have gotten lost.
Wait, what's it? Hold on. Get something in your
Hey, don't
pocket.
touch me. I won't be a pussy about it. Go ahead, read what I wrote about
You were just being a pussy about it.
You know what?
Now that you can't high road your way out of it,
No,
now
I'm
you're
gonna.
letting
No,
us
I
read
don't
it.
even know what you're talking about.
I want to hear what your segment is first.
My segment.
Maybe if it's good enough, I'll change my mind. I'll just rip this up.
Well,
right now.
it's a darn tune. We're gonna learn something today in my segment. It's called Film History. So I have a question for you for the beginning of my segment.
All right.
What movie came out in 1982?
Grease 2.
Did it really?
Yeah.
That's odd that keeps coming back to that.
Is it Indiana Jones possibly one
Nope.
of them? No.
Nope, we're getting close. Raiders of the Lost Ark's 81. Rocky 3 comes out in 1982.
Okay.
Now, what's important about Rocky 3?
It's got the Eye of the Tiger in it.
Exactly, Sam. Eye of the Tiger, that's the first thing you think of. So, Eye of the Tiger, very important song because not only was it in the movie, made for the movie, it gets number 1 on the charts.
Awesome.
Okay.
Plays for a very long time.
Well, I still hear it now.
Oh, yes, constantly. It's one of the most famous songs in the world. So there's a very few examples of what I'm going to talk about before Eye of the Tiger. Smokey and the Bandit, you get Eastbound and Down, a couple of other ones that are kind of famous because of the movie, but post Rocky 3, every 80s action movie not only had to have either Stallone or Schwarzenegger or in some rare cases Van Damme towards the late there, but you had to have a hit single. Now, some movies that you may not realize had a hit single, like Running Man. Now, here's what would happen is Survivor was a cover band for Journey.
Okay.
So you had to have a song that everyone would like, but also would fit tonally with your action movie.
Right.
Very hard to do. So who do you get to do a song like that? That's right, you get John Parr of St. Elmo's Fire fame to do your song. So all the songs sound very similar. They're all like the everybody coming down from the sky, we're gonna fly. We're gonna fight the bad guys who are probably Russian. They all sound exactly the same. So this happens in The Running Man. Rocky 4 did it. They had John Rafferty do Hearts on Fire.
Okay.
Then you get, what's his name? Oh, Robert Tepper gets There's No Easy Way. They shove three or four in them. They're all great songs, but
Breakfast
they really were
Club
trying.
had Don't You Forget About Me.
There you go. Yeah. What year's Breakfast Club?
Ooh, 85?
Okay, that's
Top Gun has
Top Gun.
Danger Zone.
Danger Zone.
Grease.
Well, Grease had all the Frankie Valli songs from it.
What?
And You're the One that I Want.
You're the one that I want.
But I
They
think
go
that's-
together.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm thinking of Footloose because.
Footloose had all that Footloose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's Back to the Future had all the Huey Lewis and the News.
Power Love.
Well, the only song they wrote for that song specifically was Back in Time, right? Because The Power of Love was already a song.
No, I
wasn't it?
think it was all off. Because Power of Love is not on sports, so it has to be for that movie.
I think Back in Time was written for that, and then Power Love was like, we have this song,
Yeah.
we'll just add it to the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. All right.
Probably
makes
something
sense.
like that, yeah. Because it's not on sports.
Isn't Back in Time great? Because it's just the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Because so
Gotta
that
promise me.
I'll be back in time. That's kind of stupid. That then Ghostbusters is their song, the Ghostbusters song. Isn't it weird that like Huey Lewis sues him, and I'm like, Huey Lewis, all of your songs sound the same.
No, they do. They all sound exactly.
You don't
the
get
same.
to Bogart the bum bum
The saxophone, the fucking saxophone.
Do you think every time you release a song with a saxophone, you got Huey Lewis barking up you? Eddie Money's like, for the God's sakes, Huey. It's completely different. Anyway, so Cobra had a song called Angel of the City, which doesn't fit with that movie at all.
Okay.
Horrible. This sort of peters out in the 90s. They stopped doing this because I guess, John Parr was like, I'm not doing any more of your action movie songs, you guys. I'll believe you.
I think a big thing was also the death of the power ballad.
But it's interesting that these action movies with horrible, gratuitous violence and Arnold Schwarzenegger throwing like an ice pick and someone going, I'm trying to break you up, and then you get, I'm coming down from the sky with a flaming axe. It doesn't fit. And like most of these songs don't even play during the movie, they play during the credits. And it's really weird. It's like the Fall Out Boy Ghostbusters song.
Ooh, only we had the misfortune of actually hearing that during the...
I'm not afraid, not afraid! It's horrible.
Yeah, just rush through the best part of the song.
Huey Lewis will get you.
I am not afraid. And let's add a rap part to
And
it.
then Missy Elliott's like, I don't know why I'm still relevant. And then...
I'm coming down from the sky with a flaming axe. But anyway, one day I sat down and I went through all of the movies that have a song like this. I think Commando has one. Rambo 1 tried to have one with It's a Long Road. I love that song. I put it in almost all of my video projects because it comes out of nowhere. Because the movie's about like PTSD and like being a man.
Right.
And it ends with... This might be old-fashioned to me. It ends with the gayest song they could possibly find. So that's it. 80s movies, action movies. I don't know what you were trying to do, but you were ultimately unsuccessful in your endeavor because we only remember the one.
That's true.
That is Eye of the Tiger.
That's interesting.
No, well, okay. To be fair, Danger Zone is one that
Yes, Danger Zone, yes.
that's
also that one also has Take My Breath Away in it.
Okay, yeah. Now, Armageddon...
Yeah, that one did hit.
That is an outlier because, that's 90s and it's a power ballad.
What year did Armageddon come out?
I want to say 91, 93 maybe.
So that could be a relic of that. Just a weird thing.
Yeah.
and then...
Because there's nothing that really replaced it, you know what I mean?
No.
Like it didn't evolve into anything else.
Like
It
we
was
don't get those anymore.
Fuck,
like they try like that Rihanna song for the Star Trek movie, but that
There was
was
a Rihanna song for the Star Trek movie?
exactly. Oh, Jared Leto news. Leto. Oh, Jared Leto news. He's gonna be Andy Warhol.
Is that where we're at? We can just make a movie about any dead person, just cast somebody in, and you can just say that.
Yeah, we got 3 Steve Jobs movies. Do we want to move on to our topic of the week?
Yeah, but first I think we're going to read these very long feedback.
But my segment was really good.
Yeah, but I'm sure that
Fine, do it.
there'll be some really...
You go first.
Some more great material to mine from here.
Now, when I call you a plank of wood, I mean like because you're strong.
Hold on, wait a second. I'm going to read mine first. Cannot carry a segment to save his fucking life.
That one's true. I mean, I think we can all...
I swear to God, if he cuts another one of my funny bits for time, I'm going to kill him.
Maybe you cut a little too much.
Oh? Just you, though?
Yeah. Well, I mean...
it's not my fault you can't fucking participate in any of my segments.
It kind of is. You pick some weird shit to talk
Oh,
about.
I picked some weird shit. Okay.
His lack of Beavis and Butthead knowledge leaves me somewhat astounded and very disappointed on a personal and professional level.
I think Lane just pretends to watch most of the movies and then just agrees with me on them.
Yes.
All right, well.
Listen, guys, I'm wrong, okay? I apologize.
Yeah, damn straight.
Apology
I didn't mean to
accepted.
call you a coward, Sam.
I still haven't read through all of this. It's really hurting me to hear you say these things.
And I call you a dirty... This was before I found out you were really... You were being really greedy one day, and I was having one of my moments. That was my grandfather talking.
Oh, I see.
And with that apology, I'd like to transition into the topic of the week.
Which is what?
We're going to find the worst sequel ever. Because
You mean the search for the, worst
search
sequel?
for the worst sequel. Because you didn't announce it at the beginning. Because you were too busy trying to rush us in. So, worst sequel ever. Let's just start off with some ones we can dismiss right away.
Okay.
My mind says Temple of Doom, but I know it's not really that bad. It's fine. It's not the worst sequel ever.
Okay, see. So when I think of the worst sequel, I don't think what is the worst sequel in a series. It is more among multiple movie series, what is the worst sequel? Crystal Skull?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think either. Oh, maybe Crystal Skull. We'll talk about that. But I think when you're calculating a sequel, the drop in quality from the first movie to the second movie, you couldn't calculate
and so
that.
that's something I want to take in effect here.
Yeah,
is
but
like
Temple of
taking-
Doom is not that much of a drop in quality from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No, I think
it just has some dumb moments in it that make you scratch your head.
Yeah.
So now would we include Phantom Menace? Is that a technical sequel?
Because that is technically a sequel
It's a
to
prequel,
Return
but-
of the Jedi.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so prequels are like any movie that
It's the movie that comes after.
Movie that
Yeah.
follows. Okay.
Like my number one lead right now is going to be Star Trek Generations.
Okay.
Because it is technically a sequel to Star Trek 6.
Okay.
So I have a couple I would throw in here. So Jaws 3 and 4. Now my argument here is going to be Jaws 4 is worse.
Yeah, Jaws 4 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
So, and Jaws 4 I think is so egregious because it's simply boring. Like it has nothing that made any of the other Jaws movies at least interesting.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
Son of the Mask.
Ooh. That one. That talk about dropping quality.
the Jamie Kennedy factor alone.
And you have to say like again, that's another one with the expectations. Like The Mask was not perfect.
Not great, but it's a
Have you
classic.
seen the ad in Nintendo Power where you can submit a contest to be in The Mask 2?
yeah.
Amazing.
And they,
Wow.
And they just never followed through with it because they never made that movie.
Wow. Cameron Diaz looks great in that movie, though.
Right? Anyway, off topic. Yeah, The Mask 2, pretty bad. I don't think I've ever actually made it through.
Ooh, yeah. I remember seeing the trailers for that, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like,
Well, because the thing about The Mask is that he had that prosthetic on, but it looked really good. But like Jamie Kennedy's running around in like a plastic, like like
the
it doesn't.
CG was so egregious.
Yes, the
and-
CG.
Well, because it was trying to be like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit
Yeah,
type
yeah,
of
yeah.
film.
But like the first movie wasn't that.
I
The
know.
first movie was very much grounded in reality, except for the mask stuff.
Exactly.
I need to go back and rewatch The Mask.
I should
That movie's
rewatch The Mask, yeah.
I remember I had that on VHS, and I watched it so much that it developed like a blue line on the screen.
Oh.
And it used to frustrate me.
Speaking of shitty Jim Carrey-less sequels, Dumb and Dumberer.
Ooh, that one's pretty bad. Let's see. movies that-
I personally really don't like Superman 2. Even the Dick Donner cut doesn't
It's
really
not
save
good,
it. No.
It's really bad.
It's like if somebody continued the story because like everybody looks the same, it's the same feel, but just
Yeah.
it's just the quality has taken such a nosedive.
Yeah, but I mean, Superman 4 is much worse.
Yeah. Well,
That
yeah, 'cause-
first Superman movie's it holds up. I think.
It's a very good time capsule for exactly what movies were at that time. Technicolor, like, but also with the cynicism of the 70s. I really enjoy it. Could we maybe do just the general, the way that the Hobbit movies turned out?
Yeah, because technically that first Hobbit movie is a sequel to Return of the King.
I remember because they chop up the book really weirdly because
It's horrible.
So
Yeah.
the thing that I hate about that is you should have just made it all one film. I know that
it's a children's book.
Should have let Guillermo get off his ass and make a movie. Del Toro make it. He should have not covered up the orc designs with CGI.
don't get.
He
me
shouldn't have
started on
rubbed
Guillermo.
Vaseline on the camera. He shouldn't have put that GoPro in the barrel.
That was so strange because it was
Well,
a
'cause-
very jarring.
Yeah, and then it cuts from the GoPro digital footage to Panavision 48 frames like wide shot. And It's
Yeah.
like you didn't even try. You didn't even try to transition that out. No.
So it's not just that they did like a first-person view of the barrel. It's that it's literal GoPro footage.
it's
but
literal
not
like a
been-
GoPro
GoPro.
Hero 7 or
so
whatever.
it hasn't been up converted at all
No.
or anything.
No,
like that.
they didn't polish it. It just looks
Jesus.
like somebody put like
A GoPro on a barrel.
whitewater rafting and like that footage. But and then it cuts to the Vaseline on the camera.
So should have been all one film. I know that's kind of hard because The Hobbit is kind of a long book, but the most egregious part of all three films is killing Smaug at the beginning of
Yes.
the third film.
The pacing, if you're going to make it 3 movies, make it a 3-act structure.
Because what the climax in the second one is a fake climax, and then having I don't remember what happened.
They wander around for a bit, and then Billy Connolly shows up and they CGI his mouth.
And fucking nothing happens until the last part of the movie where, oh, he's dead. Okay.
That sort of false ending for the second movie works like Empire Strikes Back or The Two Towers even works really well, because then you're hung on for the third movie. Our hero's in danger,
But
the
they
big
don't
bad
put
is still
they
out
don't
there.
put a climactic
Exactly,
scene.
but that's why it fails so badly in The
it
Hobbit.
would be like if
because-
you ended Empire Strikes Back with like Luke getting his arm chopped off, and then like going, "Oh my god," and cutting.
Yeah, because there's still so much that you have to do.
You have
if you're
to
leading,
resolve.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to resolve at least something. You can have the big storyline unfinished, obviously, but to leave that movie, essentially nothing happens.
Yeah, no. I mean, The Lord of the Rings would be some of the best movies ever made, I think. I mean, just technically.
Sure, yeah.
Helm's Deep, one
Helm's
of the
Deep.
best.
Yeah. Oh, the amount of detail put into their armor and weapons and the cinematography is amazing.
So that's another way you can say expectations is that, like H said, we're not going to make any new orc designs. So let's just toss a small CG. Just CG them all in.
I'm gonna
We'll do a 300.
I'm gonna throw in Star Trek Generations because it's one of the worst movies ever made.
I don't. Is that the one where it's
it's the one where
Kirk
yeah.
and
Kirk
Picard
and
team-
Picard? Yeah.
So not only is it a sequel to Star Trek 6, which is as good, if not better, than Wrath of Khan, it is also a sequel to the season finale or the series finale of Next Generation, All Good Things, which is actually really good. And it's like a fully fledged movie. And if it had more, it didn't have a TV budget and TV lighting, it would probably be one of the better Star Trek movies. So just as a sequel to all that, because when they were done filming All Good Things, like they showed up the next day and started shooting Star Trek Generations.
Oh, really?
That's
It's insane. And you waste like a perfect opportunity to put Kirk in it and all this stuff, and it's just bad. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. That movie should be better.
Oh yeah.
The next gen crew is so good, and Picard is such a good character that he could easily translate into a movie protagonist. In fact, they do that in All Good Things because there's a time distortion, and he's the only thing that's constant about it. So he just is the protagonist that you follow. So it's very easy. Whereas like Wrath of Khan, Kirk is your protagonist. Where in the show he wasn't necessarily the protagonist in every episode, so that works. And that's why those movies are good when you single out a character or a couple characters. So like Star Trek 6, it's more about Bones and Kirk.
Trapped on the prison planet.
Yeah, because Spock isn't even on the Enterprise in the first part of the movie. It's kind of just Kirk and Bones running around for a little bit. But anyway,
another. Now I know you guys haven't seen these ones, but Hostel. So there are two other Hostel films that followed. They weren't good and they weren't bad. They were just
they're just torture porn.
well, they're just Saw movies, right? So the thing that I don't like about them though is that Eli Roth made. I think Hostel's a fairly decent movie, and that it uses the torture aspect to get across this. Get these rich people, they'll do anything like to get that adrenaline. People will do anything for money, right? Like they'll kidnap other people. I like in that movie how who you think is the main character is not the main character by the end of the film. So the other two are just like, who cares? But it's more that Eli Roth sold off Hostel. He's like, I'm done with it. Whoever wants to pick it up, go ahead. And he still gets money from it. I'm not saying he had to stick around and make other Hostel movies, but to me, now, again, I have not made a big blockbuster film. Maybe if I did and somebody wanted to buy the rights to it, and I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'd do with a sequel, so go ahead. Maybe I do that. But like from a fan perspective, because Eli Roth is not a horrible director. He's fine. I don't agree with him on everything, especially like Green Inferno was a movie I really disagree with. Oh, actually, I might throw that in because that was a movie that was incredibly
are these
disappointing.
the worst sequels?
Here's one that we can write off that I didn't think we'd be able to write off so quick, and that's Grease 2. And okay, so I don't like the original Grease, so I figured a sequel of a movie I already don't like with none of the original casts, and it's better than the original Grease for me.
Well, it has the reproduction song,
Yes.
and then it has what's her face in it.
It has Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer, Stone
and
Cold.
Yes. And Max Caulfield, who nobody's heard from, and on the Wikipedia page there's a quote from him where he goes, it took me 10 years to get over Grease 2. He goes, it flopped and nobody wanted to call me.
That's
like,
amazing.
yeah.
That's
and Michelle
fucked up.
Pfeiffer is like, moving on up.
I'm in Gangster's Paradise. I'm Catwoman, bitch. Ooh, Batman Returns.
Ooh, okay.
Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed as Batman? That's an actual quote from the film.
That was the sequel to
Batman 1989,
was
which
it?
is
No,
good.
because Batman Returns. That's Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer. Okay.
That movie. So Batman 89 is not a great movie. It's really good up until Jack Nicholson shows up on the screen with his Joker products. That's the moment the movie turns. I've pinpointed it.
Okay.
But Batman Returns is truly awful because what he did is there's a producer who's pretty famous if you follow DC movies. His name's John Peters.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to make
I've
a
heard the
movie
name.
about this man someday because his life story is amazing. He's insane. He owns the rights to Superman, so he has to be involved, but he produced all the Tim Burton Batman movies. I don't know if he did the Joel Schumachers. He probably did. But he was so overbearing in the entire production that when Tim Burton made Batman Returns, he shot the whole thing in England so that way John Peters wouldn't bother him. That's why that movie is especially Tim Burton-y. I don't like it, but I guess the Joel Schumacher movies are probably worse, right? It's Batman Forever is almost unwatchable. Batman and Robin is good because you can laugh at it.
Exactly. Swings all the way back around.
For a sequel, I want to throw in the sequel to the cartoon Grinch movie, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. The sequel, Halloween is Grinch Night. You may think I am doing a riff or a bit here. That is a real, actual thing they made.
The Grinch doesn't like Halloween?
No,
No, he loves Halloween.
no,
right?
it's Grinch Night. Like that's
And does everyone else hate Halloween? Is that the conceit?
yeah, because that's like when he comes out to be scary or something.
But didn't he have a character arc at the end of the first movie?
I think this is like prequel to.
Oh, it's a prequel to the Grinch lore.
That's a bit heady for a Dr. Seuss universe.
Well, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure the good old doctor was dead at this point, and they just said, "Well, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas cartoon did pretty well. Sells pretty good. We can play it every fucking year. So let's make one about spins a wheel, puts a blindfold on, throws a dart at a board with random holidays on there. Oh, we almost hit Christmas a second time, but I guess we'll Halloween."
Flag Day. The Grinch hates flags. Do you remember? You guys ever watch Between the Lions when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Remember when Dr. Ruth would show up and read you a story? You remember this?
Ooh.
Dr. Ruth is a horrible German woman who does like sex therapy.
Yikes.
She would go on there and read stories, and I remember this. And it wasn't until I was in adulthood that I realized that she's a sex therapist. What was she doing on Between the Lions? What were we talking about? Sequels.
Okay, so another terrible sequel.
The sequel
Let's-
the sequel to Letters to Iwo Jima, Emails to Iwo Jima. I don't know. I think that was really the wrong way to go about a sequel to that film. I haven't seen it, so
So let's stray from just naming movies that have sequels and try to find ones that are legitimately bad.
What were
I'm
you
going to
gonna
say
throw out?
Aliens has a bad sequel in Alien 3 and Alien 4 and Alien vs. Predator.
okay, here I'm going to tell you right now. It's not Alien 4, it's Alien Resurrection. Don't get that mixed up, bud. Well, here's what I'm going to say is that Alien Resurrection was not a highly people are not can't wait for that new.
You don't have to factor that in because it is so bad.
Well, I would argue that Prometheus, for me, is worse.
Oh yeah, Prometheus. We guess we could count Prometheus as a sequel to Alien, and in that right, it fails in almost every way. So let's narrow that. We have a couple big franchises here. I think we've narrowed it down. I can't really think of any other ones that we're missing.
No, yeah, the big ones that we've talked about definitely have a problem. What do you think goes into a bad sequel?
With Ghostbusters 2, which I did not mention, you try and capture lightning in a bottle twice, or they just want the same thing again. And to an extent, sure, that's true. Creed, The Force Awakens, and Mad Max Fury Road to an extent has proved this. But
We want the old stories to feel fresh again.
yeah, we want new reasons to like old characters.
That's what a lot of people do when they talk about wanting a band back together. You don't want this band back together. You want it to be 1996 again.
Yeah. And so you want a new reason to think that Mad Max is cool, not just because he doesn't talk very much. You want a new reason to like Han Solo, not just because he's smarmy, but also in Force Awakens because he's wise. You want a new reason to like Rocky, not because he's dumb and lovable, but also because he can train and he's sick. So you do something new with the characters, but you can have a very similar story. Whereas like Ghostbusters 2, it's the exact same story, but they do nothing new with the characters.
Oh, okay.
Ray is still overly eager. Egon is still the nerdy, distant one. And Venkman is still a sarcastic tool. They even break up Venkman and Sigourney Weaver so they can get back together again for no reason. There's another Walter Peck character for no reason. So, yeah.
Do you feel like it's also what makes a sequel feel bad is a lack of respect for the characters? Like they messed up by doing this. Like in Alien 3, how Ripley wakes up and what's the name of the kid that she was
Newt. Newton Hicks are dead.
Newton Hicks are dead. So it's like that's a betrayal to the fans. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say disrespect. I would say more the only connective tissue between 1 and 2 was Ripley. David, those movies are unique because each director gets to make the same movie in a different way. I mean, Alien and Aliens are very similar. They're just one's a sci-fi thriller and the other one's a thriller, but an action movie as well.
Right.
So Alien 3, David Fincher is like, well, I want to do my own thing. I don't really want this connective tissue. I don't know if he actually said that, but that's the vibe you get.
No, they couldn't get Newt and Hicks actors back.
Well, didn't Michael Biehn make more money for not being in Alien 3 than he did for being in Aliens?
Well, I guess, but
Well, because I know it's like a 7-year gap between Alien and Aliens, and then how long is it from Aliens to Alien 3? Because Newt could have aged out of.
1992, so 6-year gap.
Okay.
Wow, really? You could almost say that, like, the Hobbit movies, they liked the characters and they liked the setting, but they like money more. And sometimes you just do things because they worked the first time and you just want money. But Peter Jackson's heart was not in that. A lot of the times you're missing the heart from the first movie.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason why there was 3 Evil Dead sequels is because Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are involved in all of them, and they were making movies they wanted to make. I mean, for the third one, he goes back in time to the medieval ages. You can screw up that character a lot by overdoing it, and I don't think they do.
So,
In fact, they've introduced 2 new characters that I really, really like.
Alien 3, 92, Alien Resurrection, 97.
That's really weird that there's such a big gap between all of them.
Now, and I think the worst part, one of the things I hate the most about Resurrection is that, so in Alien, you go from a black, white, and gray color palette to then a blue and a green color palette. And then in 3, you go to a red and black color palette, then to a orange and yellow and red color palette in the 4th movie.
The 4th movie looks very warm and not in a good way.
It looks weird.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason I hate that movie, so I don't really like movies that have those colors.
Well,
because
it's
makes
an effect.
It makes me feel really like hot. Like I'm like, oh god.
Well, the problem with it is that that's an effect that you put on a cheap movie to disguise how cheap it is.
Yeah.
Punisher Warzone has that effect. There's another Brad Dourif movie where he makes robots that has that effect. The name escapes me.
I feel like it's a side effect of them boosting the saturation on desaturated
Yeah.
film and it bringing out the flesh tones too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's got to be a name for that effect because
Yeah.
it is in movies, and I hate it. I can't stand it.
It happens a little bit in Return of the Jedi, but then it also cuts back and forth to a very cool looking scene, especially with him in the Emperor's chamber.
So out of all the movies we have listed, everyone pick your most hated.
Okay,
Your most hated sequel.
Let's have a recap.
so we've talked about the Hobbit movies, Star Wars,
The Aliens movies.
/ Predator. I guess you could say Predator 2.
The Jaws
Jaws.
sequels, Son of the Mask,
Yeah, oh.
Grease 2.
I'm going to lock in the Star Trek. My Star Trek
That
argument.
one's going to be yours.
Generations. I'm going to probably go with Hobbit because that one feels to me like the pinnacle of those 2-part movies that were cash grabs. Just splitting it into 3 movies, the What a Workshop stuff, just cutting that almost entirely.
By the way, disclaimer: we've definitely missed.
Oh, a huge amount, yeah.
But we're trying our best.
If you have a worse sequel than anything we have already listed,
Send it in at saltmineradio@gmail.com.
saltmineradio@gmail.com.
that is saltmineradio at gmail.com. Please send in your worst sequels and why you think it is the worst sequel of all time.
Elaine, what are you going to lock in?
So I'm going to say it's going to be a tie between Resurrection and Prometheus.
Okay. That's fine. You can choose both if you want.
I mean, one movie had no direction. The other one, like Ridley Scott he didn't fucking care when he was making that. He just said, like he's doing now, people buy an Alien movie, they'll go see it. Which, it's true, I'll go see it, but doesn't mean I have to like it. So that's going to be those are my two least favorite sequels.
Okay. I'll go first. I think that not only is that movie it's the first next gen movie, and none of the next generation movies are good, but I think that series in a lot of ways is superior. Like Wayne's World said it perfectly. There's a lot of ways superior to the original Star Trek series.
I agree.
I agree as well.
You had characters that you had Worf, you had Picard, everybody could have been the main character in their own movie, and you did nothing with them.
Well, not Data. I wouldn't want Data.
Well, no, Data's the main character in every Star Trek The Next Generation movie because Brett Spiner is an actor, apparently. All right, get that emotions chip in. I'm going to do some acting. And he's horrible. Brett Spiner, if you're listening, you're horrible. Okay. I mean, First Contact is probably all right. It's just action schlock, and that's why I don't really like it. So as a sequel to the show, an adaptation of the show, it does it poor. And then as a sequel to the original series movies...
That's also their send-off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does... And, like, you killed Captain Kirk on some rocks, and then you buried him for nothing.
That's true. That's
you
true.
killed him for nothing. And... Because they have an episode of Next Generation where they bring Scotty back, and it's my favorite episode.
Right.
It was a waste of everyone's time, especially considering that All Good Things is probably the only good next gen long form movie that we'll ever get, unless they decide to reboot it in the J.J. Abrams universe, which I wouldn't mind seeing, but I would have liked a TNG movie, and also. I'm going on too long, but as Star Trek 7 Generations, it fails in almost every way, including being called Star Trek.
Okay. If we're doing a battle of the worst, I actually have to side with Gage because you convinced me it fails as a Star Trek movie and it fails to both of the crews, especially the original Enterprise crew that was their send-off.
I'm going to say that we'll start with Alien Resurrection failed so miserably because it was at this point where they just said, we just need to pump out an Alien film. More that this was just meant to be literally a cash grab, capitalizing on what can be argued as the most iconic extraterrestrial in a film. I've heard a lot of people argue E.T. When I think of an alien, I immediately...
I think of Alien.
E.T., I sometimes forget that movie even exists.
Well, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's not...
Ooh, coming down on E.T.
It's not very good.
In the words of Dan Harmon, third act problems.
It's it's not a great movie. I just assumed that your general nostalgia for that era would kind of
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I hate that movie.
Not Stranger Things did it better by just putting a girl on the front of a bike.
You thought they were going E.T. and then nope, flip that truck.
No, yeah, I love Stranger Things for both playing straight to that and also keeping it fresh. Perfect sequel.
Stranger Things, best sequel to every 80s movie ever made.
So then things I do like about Resurrection, I like that the alien's in it a lot. When I was a kid and saw that movie, that to me was one of the coolest movies besides Aliens. As a kid, I hated Alien 3 because they're not doing anything, right? It's not scary and they can't fight it. All the characters are boring. Who cares? Aliens is awesome because you have the Colonial Marines, and to a 5 or 6 year old, those guys are fucking sweet as hell. Prometheus, I've already talked about.
Yeah, we've talked about that to death.
We already went pretty in depth as to why The Hobbit is bad. Yeah, so there you have
pick
it.
One of those.
Yeah.
I guess we won't
There
fight.
you go. Those are our most hated sequels here. And like I said, if you have any others you want to send into the show, saltmineradio@gmail.com.
Well, it's that time of the show. We talk about emails.
All right.
And we're done.
Unfortunately, no emails this week. We've been a bit dry, so please send in those emails. Give us a little segment to dedicate.
And we'll do what's on our radar, but I want to try something a little different because this will be going up the last week of September, So I want to try a month in reflection. We've done 4 episodes. Anything you guys want to talk about, correct,
Okay.
reflect upon our first 4 episodes? I know I want to correct the fact that I said Clive Owen directed Hellraiser. He did not. It's Clive Barker.
And that during that part, I could say, I couldn't remember the word eponymous. So I just used some other word, and it makes me sound like a complete buffoon, honestly.
But other than that,
Also, I didn't catch Sam saying the death of Hatsune Miku. It is the disappearance of Hatsune
That's in the
Miku.
Lost
that's in the
episode.
last episode.
Can't ever prove that I am as big a fan of Hatsune Miku as Lane. I can even pronounce her name right.
4.
I don't have
Hatsune
to.
Miku.
So Sam,
Name
do you-
4.
month in reflection. Anything you want to look back upon fondly or change?
I think the first episode, to use your sequel parlance, was lightning in a bottle. And that listening back, I was like, this is actually very good.
See,
Yeah,
for
me
me,
too.
I've liked all of our other episodes much more than the first one.
In some ways, yes, because we became more familiar with the format. I mean, we don't need to yank our own chains a whole lot.
Suck our own dicks.
Yeah.
Toot my horn.
But because this is basically how we talk already, so I'm
Yeah.
glad that this translates well to a podcast format.
Okay, good. I shared that sentiment. So I guess we'll move on to what's on our radar.
For me, I've started a new game called RimWorld that I'm excited about.
Ooh, how is that?
It's got a bit of a learning curve, but the more I play it, the more I'm sucked into it. I've only played probably about 2 hours right now.
I need a good simulator game.
So this is like, imagine Prison Architect meets Minecraft, in that you start out, the classic scenario is that you start out 3 people have crashed in like a spaceship,
Okay.
like survival pods, and you have to build your colony from
Is
start. You control the survivors and you build, like, you tell them what to do, but you generally just kind of sit back and let them interact
See,
with each
that's
other.
what I like.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you're building, like, you're like, this is a zone where you dump your supplies. This is where I'm building my fort.
That's like Prison Architect.
Prison Architect, yeah. And so it's also like City Skylines, you're planning a lot and stuff like that. The biggest feature of it is the customization. Like, there's one big mod that lets you customize every aspect of your characters, which is huge. Otherwise, they're randomly generated, and then you choose the AI that controls the game, whether they like ramp up the difficulty slowly or they do it randomly.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Things like
are there
that.
like aliens and things?
There's
that come
alien
after you and
threats,
stuff?
there's settlers that are coming to get you, because the worlds that are generated are huge. So like
Okay.
your camp, no, people will tell stories from this game where like a man and his wife, they were married for like a decade. He began cheating on his wife, they divorced, he began sleeping in his mistress's bed, they got married, his wife died in a raid, and he threw a party that same night to celebrate it.
That's
like,
awesome.
That's how detailed this AI will get.
How much is this game?
It's $30,
Okay.
which is a little much, but I haven't bought a game in a while, so I just
Yeah,
went
treat
for it.
yourself.
Exactly.
RimWorld.
RimWorld. I'll have a more detailed. That'll probably be my segment next week. A more detailed review of
that'd
it.
be interesting. Talk
yeah.
about the game you're playing.
Ooh, RimWorld mod adds Lovecraft storytelling.
Oh yeah, they added some lore from like the H.P. Lovecraft universe.
I'm gonna
and things
download.
like
I'm gonna buy this game right now. In fact.
that. All right. I hope you enjoy it.
Can you buy me a copy?
Yeah. Do you want one?
Yeah. I love you. We're all gonna play RimWorld. That'll be our topic of the week next week.
Ooh, let's do it. This week
That'd be
we'll all
interesting.
delve into RimWorld and tell our stories.
Experimental. We'll talk about this game next week.
Yeah. Let's hurry up and finish this fucking nightmare of a show.
Go watch Blame the Budget. There's 2 episodes out.
Yep.
on
And
YouTube.
look forward to that show that other guy's
Yeah,
putting
local
out.
tech support. Talking. Every episode will be about a movie and or a video game or whatever we feel like talking about. Blame the Budget, B movie exploration. Trapped in the Salt Mines is our YouTube channel. Just Google any of these things and we'll show up. Thanks for listening. And oh wait, listen, I'm glad this is out in the open. Okay, no
Yeah.
more talking behind each other's backs.
Exactly. It's like me and Lane were saying. You have a problem with that, talking behind other people's backs.
Okay, you guys go ahead and wrap up the show. I'm gonna leave. Please don't talk about me when I leave. Okay, no more of that.
Right.
All right,
Right.
okay.
No more of that. You got it.
All right, no more of it. Right?
Oh, of course.
no-
All right.
nothing.
That's
Nothing
the
more.
end of the show, everybody. Thank you for listening to Salt. Man.
God, what a fucking maroon.
Jeez,
Am I
man,
right?
right? God, he sucks.